We have 4 sets, so we're going on a deadlift pattern today. We squatted last week, and we're upping the volume a little bit. So we're doing 4 sets of 10 single leg deadlift variations. I say variations for athletes without weights. We're looking at maybe lifting the leg, maybe making more balance based. If you don't have the option to add weight, that's a good way to do it. If you are someone who has a range of weights, maybe you're adding weight to your single leg deadlift. I don't know. You tell me. And then our kind of paired movement is a side plank with a rotation. This will be done on the elbow. If this needs to be just a side plank, that's fine. The rotation is optional, and it often works the bottom half of the body, which we'll go over in a second. And then the following portion, I said 4 to 5 rounds. Kind of decide what feels best. Of 10 goblet squats, so carrying a weight of some kind. Again, air squats are fine, but weight is encouraged. 10 push-ups, 10 Supermans, and 10 wide stance good mornings. So we've all done most of these things. Superman's probably not explicitly, but you've probably done them for swimming. So be good for your swimming. And the wide stance good mornings, we've done them or some variation of this, but we'll make sure everyone's clear on what we're doing. So before we roll into anything, any concerns about hinging, squatting, or pushing that we haven't discussed? Okay, let's start with some cat-cows. So our usual, find some floor space. Okay, if you disappear off camera. Let your spine bend and flex. After you've completed your 10 reps or so, you can do a few more if it's feeling nice. Let's do alternating bird dog. So similar every week. I'm a little close to camera here, but extend the leg, extend the opposite arm, and repeat. With the bird dogs, you can always just remove a half too, so you can do arms or legs only. That'd be nice, depending on how your balance feels this morning, frankly. Okay, once we have this, come to standing. Move my camera here. Want some inchworms. So touching your toes. So I'll keep this down. I'm standing up here, but we'll come in. Touching your toes. Walking out to a plank shape. Right. You don't have to do a full-on push-up. You can just lay down. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. And then stand back up. Now, if you can't do that, or you can't walk on your hands for whatever reason, you can do a plank or a push-up into a down dog. So pushing your hips above your head or some version of that. Might even just do a plank hold if that's the case. But you can assist these push-ups as needed. I want to see 5 reps. After you do your 5 inchworms, you can stay standing, or I'm going to come to kneeling position. We're going to do arm circles, so you're going to need room to swing your arms around, basically. So I agree. I have the same. I understand the feeling. Thumbs up, T-shape. Start small. I will say, Maxine, where's your watermelon?
I know, I don't have it this morning.
It's okay. Just
Boring regular bottles.
I know. Well, at least it's brightly colored, you know?
That's true.
Like,
That's true. Yeah, next week we'll
okay.
bring the watermelon back.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise.
I think also Meg's back next week.
Oh, perfect. Then it'll be a real party.
There'll be a real party. Not that Joseph and Risa aren't lovely.
Absolutely not. We are the party.
It's just more like, I feel like, and I mean this as a full-on compliment, much more subdued, you know? Like May comes in hot. It's like,
That's why we love her.
no, it's, I mean, and it's great, but it's just a totally different energy. Like, and it's not a bad thing. It like
Not
she
at all.
takes my energy, like 'cause I come in like this, and she comes in here,
Yeah.
and then
I'm just showing up. I have like this much energy at this hour, so thank you.
you're here. And Arisa, that's
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
great. So like if I'm here and Meg's here, we end up somewhere in the middle. And it usually it's a pretty good balance. If it's just me, we're down here the whole time. So I wake up eventually, but it takes a few minutes. Once you've done the thumbs up, well, let's do the thumbs down. Yeah. At this point, you're probably pretty familiar with this one, right? Thumbs down. You can't see my thumbs, but they are down. I promise. Right. I've had the luxury of sleeping on the couch the last 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Nikki Brown is mending, but he's still sick. So he's feeling better, which is good, but not well enough to be back, in a proper bed. So that's okay. Like I said, I enjoy my own company, so it's not the end of the world. If you haven't already, forward and back, swing your arms nice and easy. Again, all pain-free. Don't whack anything. And last but not least, we'll just a little tap on the shoulder. Just a minute. Okay. Once you have, I say roughly 10. We're actually going to talk about the wide stance good mornings because this is actually going to be a nice starting point for our deadlifts. It could be a nice warm up or cool down or used in a workout. A good morning is essentially a hinge pattern with no weight on it. So we're not using any weight for this. You could put your hands behind your head if you want. This is the upper back. Some people will put like a dowel or a PVC pipe if you want to hold something back here. But basically we're not rounding forward when doing this. So hence the hands behind the head. It keeps the chest open. And the wide stance is just wide relative to you. So if I'm 6'4", my stance is very different from someone who is 4'11". So taking your default deadlift stance, if you will, and just kind of like Joseph is right now, ironically, well done. But just kind of just a wider stance. And we're just gonna send the hips back. It might just feel like a stretch, and that's plenty. So look something like this. So I'm gonna be, so my feet, if I'm here, maybe it's just a little wider. Toe out's fine. If you want to toe out, that's okay. And when I'm doing this from the hips and up, all right, hands behind the head, just because, I don't know, I like to. My knees are soft, so they're not locked, just like our deadlift. And I'm gonna set my hip back. And then stand. So I feel a stretch in my hamstrings, my butt, my low back only because I worked out yesterday, so that's why it's still my low back today. But right, just back and stand. Doing 10 here. Right, so just adjust. You might feel a little bit laterally, kind of like towards this outside of your hip. That's fine. So this is going to be part of your workout, but also just kind of we don't have to don't let that chest fall too far forward. Right, so it's less about how deep your chest goes and more just kind of bending at the hip, if you will. Think of it that way, right? So for the single leg deadlifts that we talked about, well, let's rest and do one more set of 10. Let me start by saying that. So you've done 10, take a quick break, do that again. Thinking about your deadlift variations, if you have the option to add weight, Let's add some weight. We're doing 10 reps today instead of 8. If you want to lift the leg today or lift the leg and add weight, great, right? So lifting that back leg. Either way, same idea. Of course, we're not going to go wide stance this time. We're going to be more narrow or kind of a traditional athletic stance, right? Hip or shoulder width. And I'm going to go ahead and send my hip back. So as my hip goes back, so I'm going to send my left leg. I can lift the foot, right? Or I can keep it planted. I can add weight, whatever I want to do here. And we're doing 10 per side, basically. So you can kind of pick and choose your options here. On 10 single leg deadlifts per leg. If you need to find you're balancing for the first time, just be near something that you can hang on to, or put your foot down. Trying to think out your breathing pattern, breathing in down, kind of exhaling or breathing out as you stand. This is probably not super critical right now. For those of you with some heavier weights, possibly. So the heavier the weight you're carrying, that might become, it's still a good thing to practice, but it might feel less critical at the moment. Nice work. That's great. Nice work. So after your deadlifts, which they all look solid, side plank rotations. So essentially, you'll be in a side plank. These can be done. I'm going to show you 2 versions. Kind of a short lever, meaning like it's easier, and long lever. So you have your side plank. Okay, so I'm on my elbow and my shoulder and my other shoulder. We can do whatever you want with this hand. Same line. So I'm not rotating inwards yet. Okay. So just basic side plank. The foot position, if you're barefoot, some people like to have their feet stacked. We like it, one in front. It doesn't matter. But I want my elbow, right shoulder, left shoulder stacked. Take this hand, bring it up here. This is just your default plank shape. You can hold here if you need to. If this is too much, we can drop the back knee. So essentially I'm loading through the knee versus the foot. So it's easier. That's fine. So plank hold, first and foremost, if we can do that. Secondly, we're going to rotate. So I'm going to take my top hand and reach it through. I know I'm wearing a big sweatshirt here, of this gap. Okay, it doesn't have to be super far. You're going to feel it kind of in this armpit lat area on the flat side closest to the ground. And so essentially I'm going to be in my plank. I'm going to reach, not a huge amount. So here my hips rotate a little and then back. Rotate through and back. Rotate through and back. It's a bit like sideways by the needle. If any of this progression feels too far, we'll pull it back. We can go bend the knee or extend the leg for plank hold. The rotation feels great. Cool. We're going to do 10 per side. Of course, if you're facing the camera, you just get to flip over. Don't worry about facing me the whole time. Let's do 10 side plank rotations. Or if you're doing a side plank hold, let's go, 30 seconds? We'll start with that and see where that takes you. Okay. If you're doing a side plank hold, I'm not going to count the time for you, but you can approximate this. You can eventually add weight to this rotation, but we don't have to.
6.
Yeah. And it's okay to take a break within these 10, right? So it's okay if you're not doing all 10 in a row. It's our first time trying this version of a side plank. We've done side planks. But yeah, when you rotate, the hips can rotate a little bit as well. You don't have to stop that rotation of the hip. Just make sure you still feel balanced. We can even just do a plank hold. For anyone, like single-sided shoulder work is not great. You can do that as well. Okay, so that's round one. Let's do at least 2 more, maybe 3, right? So the goal is total of 4 sets, and you could cycle through these at your own pace at this point. All right, so 10 single leg deadlifts per side, and 10 either side plank rotations, side plank hold, or plank hold. Cool. And if you have any questions, of course I'll be here. Otherwise, I'll kind of keep an eye on all of you as best I can. If you want me to watch something though, I need you to tell me and change your cameras or adjust accordingly. I was gonna say, if you want more kettlebells, Joseph, I have a 35-pound kettlebell rolling around my house. No. You're like, no, thanks.
Too much. This is plenty.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, pro tip, if you're looking for weights, look, Amazon Basics is great. You get a decent dumbbell and a decent kettlebell. But you end up paying for shipping and weight of the weight you're buying, ironically. Or at least oftentimes that can be the case, especially if you're getting heavy. So what I would suggest is check out gyms, or if you have friends who go to gyms in your city where you live, or even in town. And if they're either closing, which hopefully not, or maybe they're just getting rid of equipment, because gyms will cycle through equipment, as in they'll just get rid of stuff and buy new stuff. So they'll sell it for cheap, or they'll sell it to you like, $2 a pound, and you just pick it up instead of paying for the shipping of the thing plus weight. So if you're looking to upgrade your weights, especially kettlebells, because kettlebells are they're a pain to order, having ordered a few myself. Check out gyms near you or ask them if they're selling stuff off, and they can do that. If you're doing the bent knee version of the side plank, but bend the bottom knee, not the top knee. So the top leg looks like a side plank. The bottom knee is the one that's touching the ground. Yeah. So you can drop that bottom knee, and basically you're doing a side plank from the knee up on that bottom leg. The top leg, or you can honestly bend both knees if you want to bend both knees. That's fine too. Maxine, what does it like to have a house all to yourself?
What's that?
What is it like to have a house all to yourself?
It's pretty nice. It's pretty quiet.
Yeah. Except for 2 kitties, which is,
Yeah, they're okay.
they're okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Reese's sweatshirt just came off. Things are serious now.
Getting real.
It's getting real now. Well, Arisa took off a layer. That means we're working. Nice. It's a great with deadlifts. It looks great, Reese. Just relax your eyes. Instead of looking down on the ground, just look somewhere in front of you. Yeah, good. It's hard to, I know if you don't have like the horizontal space to look in front of you, but instead of like looking down at the floor, just look. Sometimes you can put like a post-it note on a wall if you're like looking into a wall. That's okay too. With the side plank rotations, you're more than welcome to do all 4 sets, right? And that's per side. Because it's a new motion, if you want to do 3 sets instead of 4, deadlifts, I think you're okay to do 4 sets. You can knock off the last round of plank rotations if those are feeling extra hard. Feels like a good challenge. I recommend you try it. But it's too much. Just drop off one round. We're always coming back to that elbow, shoulder, shoulder stack. I know we're rotating, but when you come back to neutral again, right? Even if you want your hand on your waist as a reminder, that's fine. Hand above the head is great too, or above the shoulder. Nice job. You can choose your level of rotation as well. So you don't have to rotate crazy far underneath you. Typically, if you're adding weight, which you don't need much, 5 or 10 pounds is plenty. As you get better, we can do this over time. You don't normally go past your torso line. You don't usually rotate through like you would or thread the needle or thoracic rotation piece. So I don't expect that much rotation. There you go. Nice job. This isn't necessarily apply to any of you currently, right? I say here on the Zoom call, but if anyone's jumping into this for the first time, welcome. Don't feel like you have to do all 4 sets. If it feels good, I encourage you to do so. But if your first time, drop the volume a little bit. Maybe do 3 or drop the number of deadlifts down to 8 or 6 reps. If it's your first time, if you're not sure, or you're recovering from something. Yes. There you go. Joseph, you're doing great. You can bring your feet back together to standing. That's totally legit. Like you don't have to, but you don't have to balance on one leg for all 10. It's totally awesome, but you don't, it's not a requisite step for your deadlifts. Good. Maxine, how's your shoulder feeling with the side planks?
Okay. Yeah, I'm more doing the just a hold because it's just
Yeah.
a little much, but
Yeah.
we're getting there.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was thinking it's like the side plank's probably fine because you're stabilizing,
Yeah.
even a plank hold, but the rotating into that rotator cuff, that
Yeah.
might
Not so
not be
much.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I respect that because you're just doing a hold. Again, 20, maybe 30 seconds. You can, I would say, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Good work. I should be drinking water like all of you, but I'm still drinking tea. So I'll get there, I promise. Just haven't left the caffeine train yet.
I'm gonna get back on it.
Well, I usually will drink like a cup of coffee, maybe
Yeah.
2. And then mostly it's like I prefer drinking tea.
with your jelly in it?
This one, no, I don't have the jelly in it this time.
Ah, okay.
Just,
Okay.
just tea. What, you're not a big fan of the grass jelly, huh? It's like disgusting. Um,
Jelly.
it doesn't taste like anything. It looks horrifying. If you look at it, you're like, it's just a black jelly. It's the, you know what I'm talking about, Risa, the grass jelly that you get in like your boba drinks, you know.
It's delicious.
It's, see,
Ugh.
it's delicious and refreshing. I don't know. It's especially like in a cold drink. I know I put it in hot tea, which is kind of weird, but it's how I drink my tea most of the time anyway. Beautiful work. So we can take a break. So like I said, this next piece, 4 to 5 rounds. This is one that you can kind of, we'll check in at 4 and you're welcome to do 5. 10 goblet squats, right? So carrying your weight. So whether your weight is this shaped or your weight is this shaped, or maybe it's just shaped differently. That's fine. You're gonna carry it close to the chest, squat down, stand up with 2 feet. So just as a reminder, sorry about the camera angle, change it again. So carry that weight nice and close to your chest. I'll be back here. Feet squat width apart. You're gonna squat down, right? Stand back up. Repeat for 10. Simple enough. If you need to take that to air squats, that's fine. You can squat to something. From here, we have 10 push-ups. We've done push-ups a lot, so I think we're pretty self-explanatory at this point. But in case you need a reminder, right, wear your hands underneath your shoulders or just about. You can go a little bit wider. If you're a wide push-up guy, cool. I'm not, but that's fine if you are. Just keep your shoulder in line with or behind your pec, not in front, which gets harder as your hands get wider. You can break up these push-ups. 10 is a lot. So if you need to break it up early and often, raise up, put your hands on an elevated surface, all fair game. If you don't have anything to raise your hands on, you can bend your knees. So instead of doing a full plank, you can go from your knees, right? Keep your butt squeezed as you do this. Don't let the hips hike up behind you. And we have our Supermans. So Supermans requires less clothing to see. Essentially, you're going to be laying on your belly, toes together. You won't be able to see my feet, but toes together. Thumbs up. And I'm going to lift up my hands. Sorry, could I go diagonal here? I don't have room here. So toes together, thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead to keep my forehead touch the ground. I'm going to go ahead and lift up and out. So here, and back down. Here, and back down. So it's not about bending super high, but it can even just be a chest raise or raising up the hands, right? So the feet raising is cool. Not a given, but it can happen, right? Otherwise, you can go up and down. The big thing is keep your toes together and butt squeezed. It should feel like, you know, a little, your butt should be engaged, not like a butt exercise, but butt should feel engaged. Maybe upper back exercise. If it causes some neck discomfort, you can just rest or take a break, but you're already gonna be on the ground, right? You have just done your push-ups, take a break, shake it out, and then go into your Supermans. So lifting up 1, lifting up 2, so on and so forth. We've already done the Y stance good mornings. Those are just a nice stretch, right? And we're gonna do this 4 to 5 times. Okay, so we're starting on the squats. So whether you weight them or not, up to you. I do encourage you to add weight if you have it and it's appropriate. If you have 2 lighter weights, you can put 2 weights on your shoulders. Yeah, if you had a matching dumbbell, if you will. If you have 2 kettlebells, that's cool. You can go here, right? Back of the wrist, sig diagonal on the palm. I'm more happy to go over kettlebell stuff if you have questions. So you can reach out to me if that's the case. For my athletes who are ready, no rush. Let's start with 10 goblet squats, and feel free to stop and ask questions as they arise for you. So all of these, you're resting as needed. Your squat stance is up to you. So it's what you find most effective. As long as your knees and ankles stay kind of stacked, your hips too, you should be just fine. You've done push-ups, break them up early and often. If you're slowing down, take a break, right? Change it up a little bit. It's okay to rest between the push-ups and the Supermans, by the way. So if you just want to like take a break, keep it near the ground or take a knee. With the Superman's toes together, thumbs pointed up this way. So if you're here, you can rest the forehead on the ground if you need to. Or if you need to go more into a Y shape, so a wider shape than, let's say wrist above the shoulder, a wider shape can be easier on this. If that's causing some discomfort, in this case, we could bring the hands down to the side, kind of in a little cactus shape. Good.
Were there only 3 exercises?
Then so after the Supermans, we have the wide stance good mornings.
Oh, yes.
The wide, yeah. No, usually there's like three to 4 movements. Yeah, I usually stop around 3 because it's hard to remember. Yeah, and it's just like a nice stretch. That's all. So good. Nice job. And you're welcome to rest between movements or between rounds even, right? So this is kind of, I would say, self-paced. I would definitely recommend resting on the push-ups, if anything. We'll start with 4 rounds. If you get to your fourth round and you're feeling like you could do more, I want to go ahead and do round 5. If you're toast around 4 or you have more training to do today or adulting that has to happen and requires energy, then don't. Good. Good. The Supermans are going to be sneaky, but they should be nice, just like an activation piece. If you feel like you're reaching up to the ceiling, probably a little too high, think about reaching out as well, right? So like if you're reaching out to the edge of the room you're in, and height is a bonus, basically. It's not just height. Unlock those knees, Joseph. You don't have to be like stiff-kneed or locked. Yeah, you can bias the hamstring a little bit too. Feeling in your low back is fine if you want a little bit of a stretch, but you can kind of pick and choose here on this one. Good. Nice job. Same thing with the good mornings. If you find that the hand behind the head is just a taxing position in a way that's not helpful, hands on the waist is fine. I don't know. As long as you exercise the head, you're not kind of crunching or rounding forward. If it's taxing in a good way, great. Good. We're all well into round 2, maybe starting round 3-ish. Nice, Maxine. How big is that kettlebell? 30, 20?
20 pounds. No, it's
20.
20. It's not huge.
Well, it's funny because Joseph also has 20 pounds, but it's, you know,
That was 20 pounds, that giant thing.
yeah, right? That's 20, right?
Wow.
And yes.
Yeah, it's just like the body, the density of the body, depending on the brand, will change.
Yeah.
It actually goes for
I thought it
anybody.
was like 100 pounds.
Although I will say 100-pound kettlebells are about this big. Like the body does have to get bigger at some point.
Oh my God.
Anyone playing with kettlebells, right? Just got a front rack going on. If you're going single, so Maxine, you're kind of holding like this, right? For now,
Yeah.
that's fine. You can play with how you hold this. The thing about holding it like a lollipop or by the handle is the grip takes a
Oh,
lot of load. Now, that's not
yeah.
a bad thing, right? But if you want to release or relax the grip, holding the body, right, can actually
Yeah.
be a little easier from a grip perspective. Now, that doesn't mean it's more comfortable.
Right.
I can tell you for whatever reason, I like this way, and I've always had the handle to my right side. Don't know why, I just do. You can play with this, see what you find is helpful.
Oh yeah.
You have more options. Like, you don't have to stick with one way. And if you want to work on grip, the lollipop version is great, right? So whether it's like lollipop or, here by
Yeah.
the handle. But yeah, just play with how you hold it.
Okay.
There's no really wrong way besides dropping it, I guess is the only wrong way. To play with your kettlebell, especially if you're doing a single version. If you're doing
Yeah.
doing the front rack, that's a little more specific, and there is a wrong way to do that. So, but yeah, if you're just goblet squatting, play with how you
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
One will be more grip intensive, one won't be, and I prefer the less grip intensive, but
Yeah.
I say work
Thanks.
hard enough. You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, kettlebells are funny. They are, depending on the brand you buy from, so literally the company who makes it, it's a bit like dumbbells. They're all dumbbells, but a 35 might look different in a different brand. Kettlebell bodies are the same thing. Competition bells are typically all the same body size, so about the size of Joseph's kettlebells, but they're all different densities. So 8 kilos and 50 kilos look the same, but obviously they're not. And the handle width is the same, which is quite nice. But as a result, they're quite expensive. So for most of us, the kettlebells you're going to see or buy online, unless you're buying competition kettlebells, will be different sizes. So the bigger you get, the heavier you get. When in doubt, read the label. It's a good chance. Those thumbs next to your shoulders are fine. You don't have to go super low deep into the sternum if that feels tight. It's gonna sound like a strange thing to do, but I want you to drop your elbows. So instead of here, go ahead, drop your elbows yeah. So it's resting on this little triangle. It's a great posterior shoulder rotator cuff exercise. And it's, yeah, it's okay if your hands cross over. I know it's a little tight in there. Nice job. Nice work. I think we're kind of somewhere in the realm of, well, actually, let me ask. One you can answer, by the way. Don't feel like you have to answer immediately. How many of you are in round 4? Yeah. Joseph, you're in round 4 or 5? 5. Okay, perfect. Whatever you finish the round you're in. Okay, so if you're in 4, lovely. If you're in 5, great. It'll give us about 5 minutes to check in and see how that went. Good. Finish off good mornings and your push-ups and Supermans, all the above. You can rest. Well deserved. Nice. I'm surprised you just opened your window now. I would have had that open. It's, yes, fair. That's fair. That's fine, Maxie. You can finish off. You can do those last 10 reps or not. I think, up to you.
Gotta get it done.
That's, yeah, no, I
We're
agree.
watching now, Maxine. You have to do it.
Great.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Love an audience.
It's a safe audience at the very least. Okay, I won't speak for Joseph.
I got it. Okay. I'm done.
It's not a race, so you're safe.
You're being recorded, Joseph, so you have to be nice. Or do you?
Well, I should be nice.
Should be. Nice work today. How were those side